that's what most people think, you know, when they first heard about it coming out, you know. Oh boy, it's been probably good. I don't think it's been quite a year, but close to it, you know, when the word first got out that it was coming down the road. But everybody used to think, oh, I had those on my old bike back in the day, or I had those on a mountain bike back then. But it's honestly nothing like that. This fork here is actually pretty sophisticated for a pneumatic fork. And, you know, there's always concerns right at first, you know, and especially, you know, when you're happy with something, I think it's just common nature to be reluctant to change at some point. But it became quite apparent to me pretty quick during testing that it was something that we definitely wanted to pursue. There was just such a calmness about it, and rider comfort about it. I think, you know, the mass of the spring, you know, having to push that thing up and down inside the fork, and just you know, less weight and a lot of things like that. And it just once we got the setting even close, it was just, like I say, just the biggest thing to me just stuck out that the bike just looks so much calmer, and the rider trusted it more in the corners. And you know, I've said this quite a few times that in the beginning I said, man, if we can just get the performance equal or even close right there, it would be a home run for us, because we're saving over 2 pounds on this one. But it was pretty easy to get the performance better. And this thing's come a long way since we first got it. You know, Brock's been racing it in Supercross and now in outdoors. He's very happy with the performance, and Showa keeps, you know, Showa has our back immensely on it. You know, they keep sending us new parts to try. They're racing with it in Japan. Martin Honda's racing with it in the GP. So on their end, the development program is pretty steep, and they keep sending us new parts to try almost quicker than, you know, we can test them. But it's kind of cool to know that, you know, you have that backing behind you. But it's for me, it's new, and that's kind of exciting. But the performance end of it is pretty amazing. I definitely didn't think going into it that it would be that drastic. Our goal is, you know, to be able to hopefully sell this as a kit next year. You know, that's always our goal, whether it happens or not. I feel pretty confident that it's going to happen, but you know, a lot of things have to go in to determine that. But that's definitely our goal. We're trying to make it, you know, a cheap and easy. And for a lot of people that have bought the SFF forks already, we're trying to make it, you know, to where they don't have to buy a whole new set of forks. That can be, you know, certain parts can be updated and use some of the parts you have at least. So it'll be quite a bit cheaper to do that. But I think, you know, I was a little bit worried about about seal stiction and about you know, air leaking and what would happen if you nicked the tube and a seal leak. But honestly, I think I was just paranoid, because we haven't had any problems like that. You know, we don't run that much pressure in the outside chamber, so if you do, you know, get a little nick on the tube and the seal starts leaking, it's just like a normal fork. You know, when it starts leaking, you know, it doesn't seem to pass any pressure. You know, we've tested it with no pressure in the outside and just relied on the inside, you know, the inside pressure to do its job. And yeah, there's a difference in the feel, but it's not unrideable. And we actually, when we did that, we actually learned quite a bit about trying some new settings. And they also have a computer program that assists us in determining, you know, you can punch into the program, you can punch in the oil volumes and the air pressures, and it'll print you out a curve, and then you can decide where you want to change it and just play with the numbers, and, you know, prints you out a curve. It's kind of idiot proof in that way, so that's pretty helpful. In this case, with Showa's design, I don't have all those answers in the KYB design yet, because I haven't got to test with it. But in the Showa design, that's definitely not a problem. You know, we use nitrogen in there, so the heat buildup, which is very minimal in the air side. Most of your heat buildup comes from because Showa's is an SFF separate function fork design, so most of your heat buildup is in the dampening side. In the air side, heat buildup is very minimal. But we still use nitrogen in it to just keep that a little bit more consistent. And I think that, you know, I had a few questions because I just did the bike intro, or you know, it's come out on the internet all about the new 450 Cowie and the Honda. And so people were asking me about it, and I said, well, the way I look at it, it's no different than, you know, checking your tire pressure in the morning. You know, you pretty much do that before every time you ride it, so you just got one more place to check, you know, before you go riding. and they seem to have made it pretty simple to adjust it and monitor it. So I think it'll be good. It's just something new. People get used to it. The basic principles are still the same. Again, I haven't had a chance to mess with the KYB one at all, but it looks like, yeah, you'll be able to just if you just think of air as a spring, which it is essentially, and you're either going to a stiffer spring by adding some pressure or going to a softer spring by taking some pressure out. If you keep it simple in terms like that, I think it shouldn't be any different. Well, it's a compressible volume of space that's in there, and I think if you just think of it that way and keep it simple, everybody will be okay. I think the excitement's out there now, and I think it's going to be good.